Alright everyone, the far left has now come full circle at UMass Amherst. A student there was warned off of putting up a sign, I guess in a dorm room window, hanging out over the commons or whatever other communal bullshit you have at Amherst. And it was very, very funny because what the sign said was, "Fuck Nazis, you are not welcome here." She got a letter from the university a week later saying, "You have to take the sign down." You know why? It's not inclusive enough. You have failed to include the Nazis. Oh my god. Here's my thought. This is a clear-cut First Amendment issue. You should absolutely be able to say fuck Nazis. You should be able to say fuck anybody. Yes, that includes racial statements, sexist statements, homophobia. Yes, explicitly. That's the whole point of the First Amendment. To protect that which is unpopular, taboo, rude, and objectionable. It's the only point. There is one limitation, and that's when the person engaged in such behavior does in such a way that actual power might be dispensed. Like let's say a teacher were to hang that sign up. That's unacceptable. People are paying to go use this public university. They go in there, they're paying good money. They might be discluded. But does that student take their money? Does the student grade them? No, the student doesn't do anything. The student's simply saying, hey, in my dorm room, I'm not welcoming Nazis. Do you really have a problem with that? They don't want to hang around with skinheads. That's really a problem. It's the same as like if someone said like in their dorm, like no girls allowed or something. Who fucking cares, dude? Get a life. Get over yourself and the PC bullshit. If it's a teacher, if a judge does something like this, if a politician, a public servant, a cop or somebody who has to protect others, that's a problem. A private citizen who is not engaged in any real form of public power, no, they should be able to do and say whatever they want. That's really the litmus test. Are they on the public dole in some way? They're saying, well, there's, the university takes funds. Okay, again, it's a student, it's not a teacher. Yeah, I absolutely support the right to say fuck Nazis. People should be able to say that if they want. They should be able to say whatever they want. I mean, you're renting out this dorm room, you're paying, through the nose to do so. Why the fuck shouldn't you be able to say what you want to say? It's like, it'll be like 1984 where someone's lucky, their dorm room has one little niche in the corner where they can sit and a camera's not watching them and a microphone's not listening to them and they sit there sweating and writing on a piece of paper, my god, I fucking hate censorship, and that's the only place that they're allowed to do it. Is that really the kind of society we want? See, here's the thing. We need to take a stand as society. Which are we going to have? A society in which there's free speech or a society in which there's not? There's no other opportunity. You either support speech you do not agree with, find objectionable, and in fact sometimes completely detest, or you don't believe in free speech. I get people on the right too. They're like, yeah, I mean, these fucking commies want to take free speech. So we should have absolute free speech except for commies. They get thrown out of a helicopter. Well, it's a funny joke maybe, but no, I wouldn't support that. It's the same, like on the left, they're like, well, yeah, we want free speech, but those Nazis say bad things, so not for them. That's not free speech then. That's regulated speech. It's a whole thing we were trying to avoid. The whole concept of the First Amendment. If you look at the Constitution, you're looking at a document that essentially is a refutation of and a prevention of the kind of problems you had prior in Britain. That's essentially what the Constitution is. That's why. Why do you think they said, well, soldiers can't be quartered except under certain guidelines in time of war in people's private homes? Under very rare circumstances. Why do you think that's there? Because the British military quartered their soldiers in people's homes. And they did it without their consent. And they'd tear up the house, rape their wife, or some crazy shit like that would happen. They'd get drunk, and they'd be unruly. They'd burn the house down. So they sought to avoid this. What's therefore the First Amendment? Couch it in that line of thinking and you know what the First Amendment's for. It's a philosophical refutation of the concept that any governing body or any power structure, because of course at the time the modern corporate structure didn't exist in the way it does today, ruling over all human communication. It'd be like back then if one company made all of the presses in your country. And they say, well, you're not, we're a private company. We can keep you from using the press. You're not allowed to read books or anything. Oh, that's okay, they're a private edifice. No, not entirely. What I would say is this. Look at the situation framed within the context of the Constitution being made, and then you can tell basically what the First Amendment's for. It's to protect that which is objectionable, especially that which dissents from government or from a church. Especially that which dissents from power structures, and now we have multiple other kinds. We have various structures of private organizations that are just as powerful in many cases. Apple is as powerful as some governments in the world. Google is as powerful as some governments or some religions. It's really actually very funny to see because we've largely allowed that to happen because we were ignorant. It's funny to see the social justice warriors now attempting to censor someone from literally mocking Nazis or whatever. I just find that really, really funny. So I would expect on appeal, if this becomes like a true legal case or something, I would expect that it'll be, obviously allowed that people should be able to express such views. The idea that you have to be inclusive, let me ask a question here. I know a lot of people won't understand why I would even bother asking it because you're already assuming the answer. Why do you have to be inclusive? I don't feel any compulsion to be inclusive. There are people that I find objectionable in their political views. No, I'm not inclusive of their views. No, I have to tolerate that they have the right to say them, but I can sit there mocking them all day. I don't have to accept the philosophical basis of their principles. There are people in this world who practice religions that I find personally offensive and backwards, but they have the right to practice them, insofar as they're not victimizing others. That's a gray area, unfortunately, at this time. Yeah, you have the right to practice it, but I don't have to tolerate it, accept it, and be and say, well, I have appreciation for your cult. Or no, I don't have appreciation for your cult. I don't give a fuck about your cult. Stay away from me. I don't want to take part in it. No, I don't. I don't think that you should sacrifice animals and stuff like that. If someone finds that offensive, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What century is this? It's really, really funny, especially to see it at Amherst, UMass, a relatively well-known school. Intelligent people tend to be the ones going there, and this sort of bullshit happens. It's just fucking hilarious. That's about all. Peace out.